Right, let's see if this is live. Just waiting for the stream to go live, and then we will begin right away. Let me just open the live chat here. I think it's still waiting, and I think we will start in 5. Actually, let me just move it down here a second. There we go, and move this here. So the stream starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo guys, BluesNod here, and welcome back to another live stream, and welcome back to another YouTube live stream, a special match preview again on the YouTube live stream. This is the second week in a row that we are doing this, and you probably know why I really want to do this, okay? I really want to do this because whenever there's a big Quakes game, whether it's the Cali Classico, whether it's a crucial game in the playoffs, or whether it's decision day that is going to happen this weekend, I always want to do it, and that is exactly why I decided to do it here. And I'll tell you what, I've been very excited to do this preview. I mean, I've been looking to do this preview ever since the final whistle of that Quakes versus Caps game. I mean, I already gathered so much information of what I was gonna say back last Sunday that, you know, finally, I can share it with you guys. I mean, I've been waiting for almost 5 days to do it. I've been so anxious to do it, and now I can do it. Now, before I actually do talk about the story, and I know this is probably the thing that you were here to watch, I just have to first talk about something that really happened in MLS, and something that really shocked everybody in the MLS. And I'm pretty sure if you follow the MLS very carefully, you probably have heard this story about how the Columbus Crew potentially is going to be moving Austin and potentially is going to be relocating because unfortunately the owner thinks that the team is not bringing enough revenue, and that they need the owner thinks that he needs to, he's forcing the team to build a new stadium in downtown Columbus, or else they're gonna relocate it. Now, this story means not only a lot to the Crews fan, but it means a lot to the MLS community, especially to us Quakes fan, because even though I wasn't a Quakes fan back when this extraordinary thing happened, but if you guys remember back in 2005 when the Quakes was just one of the best team in the league, we were pretty much just dominating MLS years after years, and what happened was our owner, who I believe it was Alexi Lawless, decided that he's gonna move the team to Houston, mainly because San Jose cannot get a stadium done, and that he refused to play the team anymore at Spartan Stadium. And you know what was so heartbreaking about that is that the team never got a new stadium until 2015, and it just felt like, you know, we completely got backstabbed with the way that we lost a team that, first of all, was very successful. I mean, you know, I feel like the Quakes, we have like 2 MLS Cup well, you can tell by the star here above above the team's logo. Even though we only have 2 MLS Cup, I feel like we could have won more if we didn't move to Houston, and we should have won more. I mean, I feel like back in 2006, I believe I'm not sure if it was 2006 or 2007, but one of those years, the Houston Dynamo actually win the MLS Cup, and if you were a Quakes fan back then, that must hurt so much, because you're knowing that the team that you are watching that won the MLS Cup not only is a team that you used to support because they relocated. I mean, it feels like we got our identity stolen by Houston, and that we should have won at least 3 or 4 MLS Cup. We would have been one of the most successful team in MLS back in the mid-2000s, but unfortunately, that of course wasn't the case, and now we're seeing the same thing happen with the Columbus Crew. Although the thing that is the reason why I think the owner want to move the Crew is mainly because of money. I mean, let's face it, as much as we hate to accept these days, and our fans that refuse to accept this kind of statement, we know for a fact that in today's game, football is a game about business, okay? It's no longer a fans game. I mean, I think back in the 80s or the 70s when money wasn't an issue, that was truly kind of like the fans game. That was everyday's game. But now about 20 years later and now heading into the 21st century, you can see how, you know, you look at the teams and how much they are worth and how much the owner are earning money right now. You know, they're getting more and more greedy as a time, which is why you also see how the tickets prices for some of these games, including the Quakes game, are just so expensive. Like, are you kidding me? How in the world do you pay us, do you get us to pay about $60 or $70 to watch a Quakes game? Okay, I mean, it's almost at a point where if they even go a little bit higher, then they are doing the exact same thing what the Premier League is doing, and that is pricing out working class family. And without the working class family, because we all know football is built on the working class family, without those kind of people around supporting the team, it just feels like the first of all, it makes the atmosphere very bad. And second of all, it doesn't feel like the same thing. It just felt like, you know, the atmosphere is not going to be the same thing, and the vibe and the whole match day experience is obviously not going to be the same thing. So yeah, it's hard to accept it. And also the other things that I will say that a lot of fans is really hating about a lot of their own league is that they don't really care about the fans. I mean, let's face it. MLS, you know, they really don't care about the fans. They are just like the Premier League, where they treat their fans like second class citizen. And this is exactly what happened. This is an example of what the Crew is treating their fans like second class citizen, and that they don't really give a shit about the loyalty. Because remember, the Crew was one of the 10 teams that made the MLS in the inaugural year. So this team has been around through the whole 22-year process, and the fact that you're gonna rip out an identity of a team that's been in the league since the birth of the league, it's just disgusting. It is an absolute disgrace, which is why, you know, you've been hearing a lot of Twitter having put the hashtag Save the Crew. Well, make sure you guys spread that message out. Make sure you guys go on Twitter and put hashtag Save the Crew, because it really means to a lot of the fans here. Even though I'm not a huge Crew fan, you know, knowing that our club has suffered the same fate of potentially what the Crew is going to suffer, you know, it's just that you just have to do it. You need to spread the awareness. Do not move the Crew to Austin, whatever happened. Do not let another MLS team move to Texas because the owner decided to be very greedy and want more money. But with that being said, let's actually get to the actual preview of this game. And I know this kind of took a little bit of a long time to explain, but, you know, I was very passionate about this. When I hear this news, it really reminds me of my own club, and even though I wasn't a fan back then, I know much about the history of the Quakes and how, you know, we were getting absolutely backstabbed back in 05 with the fact that we completely got robbed and lost our club identity to Houston, and lost all the success that we would have had with this club have the club not moved to Houston. But it is now, we now have to kind of talk about, well, we first have to like move on with the past. I mean, the past is just the past. We need to talk about the present. We have to talk about the future, and that is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this preview. The present right now is that the Quakes are on the cusp of making the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, and it will be the first time in my time supporting the Quakes. I've been supporting the team since 2013. I have never seen them in the playoffs, so it's almost like this is going to be a new experience for me, and how it just means a lot to me, like seeing the team in the playoff. Okay, yes, I know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say, well, the Quakes aren't going to do anything in the playoffs. They're probably just it's going to be a one and done kind of thing. But one thing I really want to say about that is that, yes, we might be one and done. We might lose to, we might have to go on the road, play against either Sporting KC and Houston Dynamo, and we might get absolutely destroyed. But the thing is, you know, to get this team back in the playoffs, and how to get this rebuilding process that we are on and are able to get ourselves in the playoffs, that is a very impressive feature. I mean, you have not heard a lot of rebuilding team can able to get themselves in the playoffs. Okay, maybe RSL might be another candidate to that, but, you know, we are in position to do that. And I just think with this playoff, right, I'm just really think that this potentially could set up very well for the next couple of years, because we all know the Quakes are not there yet, okay? They are clearly not there yet. We still have some pieces that we need to fit. We still need to get rid of some of the guys that was part of the old regime and how they just doesn't fit in this kind of new system that we are using right now. So that's why I just think that this season, with us going to the playoffs, it's a very good step forward and kind of attract some of the guys that want to come with the Quakes. Now, having said that, obviously, to make the playoffs, it's very simple. All we have to do is win this game against Minnesota United. Now, if we drew this game, it gets very interesting, because if we drew this game and Dallas win, then they, of course, will make the playoffs. And I think if we drew this game and RSL also won, they, of course, will be, well, they won't be in the playoffs. They'll have to rely on Dallas to do it. So a draw would make this kind of very, very interesting situation. And of course, I don't have to talk about what happened if we lose this game, because if we lose this game, then yeah, we can say goodbye to our playoff hope for the final time this season. And despite the fact that all we need to do is win in this game against Minnesota, which is one of the worst teams in the league, and the fact that this season we have been so good at home. I mean, we have only lost 2 games at home all season long. We have drew only 3 games so far. I don't trust the fact that the Quakes can make this very easy for us, because knowing the Quakes' history and knowing that in the past they always let the fans down in the biggest moment and always break your heart at the biggest moment possible, you know, I just don't trust them. I honestly do not trust this team. The fact that this is, we can just easily celebrate that we're going to be in the playoffs very soon, because I just don't know how exactly will this team actually treat this as a kind of like a playoff elimination game. And hopefully, let's just hope that the Quakes don't do the same thing what the United States men's national team did a week ago, because it feels like right now we're kind of like in that same situation of how the national team was a week ago and how we were controlling our destiny. Although, to be fair, we really need to, if we drew this game, we could potentially lose this game. For the national team, if they drew this game against Trinidad, they would have made the World Cup either way. But still, it's very similar of how I just really hope the Quakes do not slack off in this. They cannot pretend that this game is just another game. This is a huge and massive game. We need to treat this like it's a playoff game, like it's a knockout game, that if we lose or drew this game, then we are out, okay? We need to pretend that this is a two-legged kind of playoff game, and how we're down on the aggregate and we need to win in order to get ourselves into the next part, which of course is Playoff Island. Now, having said that, obviously playing against Minnesota United, like I said, it's a team that is not doing very well this season, but everybody knew that was going to happen. Everybody knew that Minnesota was going to struggle. I think a lot of people have been kind of hyped up about Atlanta and how their expansion team is. And of course, Atlanta is living up the hype. They are doing very well in the MLS this season, but a lot of people haven't talked about Minnesota, mainly because they're kind of the team that just get here to the MLS and they're just going to kind of have like a party. It's almost like this team has just promoted to the second division, and they're just here for the fun. They're just here to try to survive relegation, even though technically MLS doesn't have promotion and relegation. But one thing I will say about Minnesota is that they definitely have gotten a little bit better here in the second half. I think the first half, they were pretty much the punching bag of the MLS. Everybody can, of course, beat them, but I really think this team has definitely got better, and maybe the reason why they have gotten better is because they have definitely started to learn the style of MLS. They have started to get used to it, and also they have a lot of good talented players too. I mean, I think their attack is probably the key of success for their team. Obviously, they have Christian Ramirez, which is one of the best striker in MLS. They obviously have that guy called Denladi, who is also becoming a very promising kind of number 9. And they also got a big trade in the summer transfer window with Ethan Finlay coming into the crew to Minnesota United. And I've been saying a lot of times that I feel like ever since they got Ethan Finlay in the midfield, he has really transformed that Minnesota United team, and he has really helped out that Minnesota team and bring them to the next level. And I'm just really nervous about this. I am honestly really nervous about this. Now, there is one thing that I think the Quakes can definitely take advantage of this game, and that, of course, is their defense of Minnesota. Because let's face it, Minnesota has probably the worst defense in the entire league. I think they are going to be very close from breaking the record for the most conceded goal in an entire MLS season. Now, of course, it doesn't help the fact that you can see like 5 and 6 goals in the first 2 weeks, and that you can see like 11 goals just 2 weeks into the season. That, of course, was part of just the historic kind of mark of conceding goals for Minnesota. But you know, the defense is not the strongest point, and I think this is where we really need to take advantage of that. I mean, the last time when we played against Minnesota, I feel like, you know, last time when we played them, we dominated the game, but we just could not put the ball into the back of the net, and we kind of got really lucky in that game against Minnesota with a very scrappy goal from Florian Ljungwirth when that ball was like coming in from a corner, and somehow the ball was just kind of like pinball in the 6-yard box, and then somehow Ljungwirth just pokes it into the back of the net, and that was literally like the only good thing that we did in that game. Hopefully we do not have to rely on that again. Hopefully in this game, what I think we need to do is that we need to do the complete opposite of, or actually not the complete opposite, but almost the same thing as what we did with the Caps. I've got the game against the Caps. What was very surprising about that game was that we really actually dominate possession in that game. Now, it doesn't seem like we dominate the game because Vancouver, I think in that game, they were willing to let us have the ball so that they can, of course, push themselves on the counterattack and force themselves to try to get us on the counterattack. And I probably should have mentioned in the preview between the Caps and the Quakes that Vancouver is a very dangerous kind of counterattacking team, and that is pretty much their identity this season. The reason why they're so good this season is because they can hit teams on the break very, very fast. And one thing I know for the Quakes is that we really don't deal with counter-attacking team very, very well, which is why it was a very big surprise that we actually drew that game 1-1, and we kind of had a little bit of luck involved in that game, but still, you know, we got the 1-1 draw. Now, Minnesota is not a counter kind of attacking team. I think for us, we just need to keep dominating them. We need to keep getting them, we need to keep their defense on the back heels and just kind of like just trying to start out well and trying to maybe get that first goal. And I think that first goal, right, you know, if we can get a goal early on, then it will really calm down my nerve and calm down everybody's nerves, because everybody's are eager to see if the Quakes can get it done. And if they can get an early goal, which we have seen this season that they could do it at home, they usually score like either in the first 10 minutes or maybe around like the 30th minute. They usually don't go into halftime 0-0. So if we can score that first crucial goal, it doesn't matter how pretty it is. If we can get that goal, then it will really kind of set the tone. And hopefully by that, then we can, of course, dominate the rest of the game, get that second goal, and eventually win this one very comfortably. But yeah, that of course is what I'm kind of hoping the Quakes will do. I'm not sure if that's exactly what I expected, but you know, I just think that that is the key to victory and how it will propel us into the playoffs. Now, in terms of course the starting 11 in this game, now this is where it gets very interesting, because I have heard a lot of people on Reddit said that we're gonna stick with the same formation, since you know this formation that we've been using, which is a 4-4-2. We're going back to like the old Dominic Kintner kind of formation. It has worked us pretty well so far. Now, do we really want to use the same formation against Minnesota? Because I feel like what I fear about this is that we're just basically making the same mistake of how the national team did. With, you know, how, remember the national team when they beat 4-0 beat Panama 4-0 just a match ago, and how they thought that formation actually worked out very well, and they decided to stick with the same formation and the same player, and how it was an absolute disaster. So yeah, that's what I'm really fearing about this. I mean, it just gives me kind of like a PTSD kind of feeling about how if we do use the same formation, I'm just really fearing that it's not gonna work at all. And knowing that Chris Leach is a very kind of naive kind of coach, and how he doesn't usually want to switch his tactics a lot, you know, I just don't think that once, of course, we put this formation in, we're gonna have to stick with it. I mean, I know for a fact that Chris Leach is not gonna change it, and I don't know, like, should I stick with the 4-4-2, or should I just go with an aggressive 3-5-2? Because the thing about the aggressive formation is that, you know, we're playing house money here, okay? This is a really crucial game. This is not a time to put an aggressive kind of thing that potentially will cost us the playoffs spot. So I just don't know. Like, for me, I think what I should do is that I'm thinking that we're going to go with the safe option and go with the 4-4-2, but it just brings me PTSD kind of moment of what the US men's national team did when they go with the same kind of formation and the same player. And I think, for me, I don't know if I want to go with the same player, although, actually, to be fair, if you look at the lineup that we have and you look at the players we have, we don't really have a lot of option on some of the players. I mean, most of these players that I really want to put, guys like Lima, Alache, and potentially who else was injured? I forgot who else was injured, but these guys are injured right now. They are not available to play, so it's like we're very limited in terms of these options, which is why I think we're going to go with the 4-4-2. I think we're going to probably stick with the same lineup and put Tarbell in the goalkeeper. And then, of course, at the 4 at the back, I think we have to put Sarkodie in there because, like I said, Lima is not going to be available in this game. Nobody else can play the left back formation besides Sarkodie. Although maybe we might think about putting Affolter in there, although I'm not sure if Affolter is also another guy that is injured. But of course, on the center back partnership, it's gonna be Youngworth and Bernardes. On the right back, it's gonna be Salinas, and of course, in going up to the holding midfield, we're gonna stick with kind of the same guy like Godoy and Votko in there. I mean, Votko has been a very kind of, he's like the only reason why we're still alive. I mean, after that crucial goal against Vancouver, this is exactly why we made him a DP spot, and he is really living up to his expectation of potentially get to be a great player for us. And I think he is probably a kind of a pillar of a stone for us to kind of rebuild this team. He's going to be a guy that will be really key in the next coming years of how he's going to be part of this team that hopefully will be successful, and hopefully will bring some more guys that has that kind of type of player. Because if we do, then I think we definitely can actually compete in the league. Now, going to the right mid, I'm going to say it's going to be Serin, even though I really don't want to, and probably maybe I should have put Thompson in there, although Thompson, you know, he hasn't had a lot of good games lately. And then, of course, on the left, it's going to be Hika, and then up front, it's going to be Husin and Wondolowski. And, oh, wow, hey, look at that. I just basically named the same lineup that it is with the one against the Whitecaps when we put that lineup. So, yeah, this is going to be a risk, okay? I don't know if this is going to work out so well. I mean, just that game against Trinidad and Tobago still haunts me. The fact that what we did in that game, and that I feel like we're doing the same thing again, and I just don't know if, you know, we're playing it, once again, we're playing another team that we should have beat at home, and I just worry that Minnesota United could be like a Trinidad and Tobago where they will just completely caught us in this game. I don't know. I mean, I'm praying. I am really praying the Quakes can actually get a victory. And by the way, I will, of course, like I said many times already, I know I'm being kind of like overemphasized this, but I will be at that game, and I will probably be screaming my voice completely off of my lung, and also I'll probably lose my voice by the end of the game. It will probably be one of the most intense match vlog that I have ever done so far, even more intense than the Cali Classico one. I mean, it is just, the nervousness in that game is just real. Like, I am just so nervous. I mean, I'm confident that this team can get a victory like we have done in these games at home, but I just fear that, with knowing the Quakes and knowing the history of how they always tend to let fans down at the most pivotal moment, I don't know. Like, I really don't know if this is gonna be one of those, another kind of example of just an absolute heartbreak in this team. And I just wonder, hopefully we can get a victory. Hopefully when I do get there I will see the team get all 3 points. And by the way, I haven't even got to my prediction yet. The prediction of this game, I'm gonna say it's gonna be 2-0. And the reason why I'm going with a clean sheet, even though we haven't got a lot of clean sheet lately, is because Minnesota, you know, or actually, to be fair, I probably shouldn't gone with a clean sheet, because I just said that Minnesota had a very good attack, and it's going to be very interesting to kind of actually stop their attack with Christian Ramirez and Dinladi in the team. So maybe I should say 2-1. Maybe I should have said 2-1. I mean, I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be one of those games where we're probably going to score first, and we just really kind of like desperate to get that second goal to completely kill the game off. But yeah, that of course is, I think what I'm going to say is I'm going to go with 2-1, just because I don't know if we can actually get a clean sheet, because we haven't been proven in the last couple of weeks where we have got a clean sheet. We've been conceding a lot of goals this season. We rarely got clean sheet. So I don't know. Like, I don't think we're going to get a clean sheet in this, and I'm going to say that we are going to get a 2-1 kind of victory. So, yeah, that, of course, is my prediction. That, of course, is a prediction of us getting into the playoffs, and I know this has been kind of a long stream, because I'm kind of, at first, I was talking about the Columbus Crew stuff, and then I kind of was giving a more in-depth kind of thing, because I really want to talk about this game, and I cannot wait. On Sunday at 1 p.m., I cannot wait to step into Avaya Stadium and do this vlog. Like, this is one of those vlogs that, besides the Cali Classico I do every single week, where I'm always amped up whenever it's at Stanford Stadium and it's like 50,000 plus. But this game, with the magnitude of this game and the stake at this game, that is just us in, it's just, I feel like this is going to be an amazing vlog, and this is going to be one of those vlogs that, you know, I will be really happy with it, even no matter how many people watches this. And of course, it will be always great if you guys can support my vlogs, because, you know, doing this season, it has been a wild ride for me. I mean, this season, with supporting the Quakes, it's been a roller coaster. It's been a lot of highs and a lot of really low, and almost at a point where I almost gave up on the team of actually making it into the playoff race. But here we are in the well, not in the eve, but in a couple of days before deadline day, where the Quakes will have an opportunity to make the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, and for the first time ever from me supporting the team. I'm really excited. I am really pumped up with this game. I know I've been saying a lot, but I'm really pumped up for this game. I've been looking forward to this game for a very long time. So, hopefully you guys support me and watch the vlogs. Hopefully you guys leave a comment below. What do you think about this game? And also make sure you guys put your starting 11 and the prediction of this game. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this extra extended kind of version of the match preview, and I will see you guys next time.